Alright guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to this video. If you're someone who is watching this video, you either want to improve your problem solving skills for IB, DP, higher level maths, and in this video I'm gonna show you some of the techniques. Basically I'm gonna go through 2015 May paper, paper 1, and which is higher level. So we'll have section A problem solved in this video. 10 questions, so I'll go as fast as possible, but also as clearly as possible. So I would advise you guys to stop the video before I start solving, so you can stop the video and then read the question and then continue the video. Alright, without further ado, let's go to the first question, which is, so this is the logo and the radius is 2 centimeters. And the shaded area is 3 pi centimeters squared. So the question, part A, is we need to find the angle theta in radians. So if this angle is theta, it means that the angle here is 2 pi minus theta. Alright, so now the area, which is 3 pi of the shaded region, is equal to, we know the formula, pi radius squared multiplied by the angle, which is this angle, 2 pi minus theta, and divided by 2 pi. And we know that radius is 2 centimeters, so that means this part will become 4 pi times 2 pi minus theta divided by 2 pi. Alright, cool. So what happens is we can cancel this pi and this pi here. And next we can divide both sides by 4. So this 4 will go right below 3. So it will become 3 over 4 is equal to 2 pi minus theta divided by 2 pi. And we can continue from here. We can split into two fractions, 2 pi over 2 pi minus theta over 2 pi. 2 pi over 2 pi is 1 minus theta over 2 pi. Alright, with some algebraic manipulation, we will get theta over 2 pi will be equal to 1 minus 3 over 4, which is 1 over 4. From here, theta will be equal to pi over 2. Right? Okay, for part B, we got to find the perimeter, total length of the perimeter of the logo. So basically the perimeter. So what we have now is, let's start from the center. We have radius and there's also radius here. So automatically we have radius plus radius, and then we got to find the length of this arc. Right. So if this angle theta is equal to pi over 2, it means that the corresponding angle will be equal to 3 pi over 2, because like 2 pi minus pi over 2 is 3 pi over 2. Alright, so that means that the arc length from here to all the way there will be equal to 2 pi r times 3 pi over 2 divided by 2 pi. And we know that radius is 2, so radius plus radius will be equal to 4, and then we know that this radius is also 2, so it will be plus 4 pi times, now 3 pi over 2 divided by 2 pi, we can cancel this pi, it will be 3 over 4, and so on, and then we can cancel this 4 and that 4, so finally we get 4 plus 3 pi. There we go. This is the answer. Right, next question. Mathematics test score was given to a class of 20 students. One student scored 0 points and the others scored 10 points. So part A, let's find the mean score. Now the mean score is the sum of all the scores divided by 20 students. So one student got 0, poor boy. Plus, how many students? 19 students got 10 points, so we have 10 times 19. And then 10 times 190 divided by 20 is 9.5 is the mean score. Alright, part B, write down the median score. Now the median score, let's actually list all of the scores out. 0, 10, 10, a lot of them, and then 10. The median score is somewhere in the middle. And it's clearly, the median is clearly 10, right? And part C, write down the number of students who scored above the mean score. Now the mean score is, as we have found, was 9.5. So all of these guys, except from the one who scored 0 points, all of them scored higher than 9.5. So the answer to part I should be 19 students who scored more than the mean score and below the median score. Now the median score was 10 points. How many students scored below 10 points? Only one guy who scored 0 points. So only one student. There we go. Next question. Alright, integration question. For part A, one very useful identity which you guys will see over and over in your Math HL is this. So I want you guys to memorize this identity by heart. Tan square theta, where theta is any angle, plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. Alright, so this integral 1 plus tan square x and then dx, we can rewrite this inner part as secant squared x dx. And then from your booklet, you can have a look on your booklets. The integral of secant squared will be tangent x plus constant. Never forget this constant. If you forget this constant, you'll be deducted marks. So tangent x plus c. And how do you define tan x? Well, it's given in the booklet, so refer to the booklet. So part B, sine squared x dx. Alright, so for this problem, we can rewrite sine squared x as basically dx. Let me just write integral is equal to integral. Now sine squared x is this thing, 1 minus cosine of 2x over 2 dx. This is also in your booklet. But sine squared x is equal to that identity. So we can split into two integrals, 1 over 2 dx here, and then minus cosine of 2x over 2 dx. Oops, pardon me for that. And then is equal to, now the integral of 1 over 2x is just 1 over 2x, and then minus sign. So cosine 2x, the integral of cosine 2x, well, obviously there is 1 over 2 here, so let's first of all write 1 over 2 out, and integral of cosine 2x is equal to sine 2x, and then we need to divide by 2 as well, and plus constant. And then final version is x over 2, 1 over 2x is x over 2, minus sine of 2x over 4 plus constant. This is the final answer. Alright, next question. Expand x plus h cubed. Okay, let's do it. You guys have seen probably the formula, which is basically, according to the formula, it will be like this: x cubed plus 3x squared h plus 3xh squared plus h cubed. Right? B. Hence find derivative of fx from the first principles. Now, derivative of fx from the first principles is basically this thing: limit of fx plus h minus fx divided by h, where h goes to 0. So h is a very small number, and basically the derivative looks like this. This is the first principle's definition of the derivative. Right? And then we have h on the bottom. Obviously there is limit here, limit h goes to 0. and then instead of h plus h, we can write x plus h cubed minus, instead of fx, x cubed. Okay, and then it becomes limit h goes to 0. There's h on the bottom. Now we expand this as x cubed plus, we already did it in part A, so it's 3x squared h plus 3hx squared plus h cubed, and then there is minus x cubed. Alright, and then we write it in the new form as h on the bottom. Now this x cubed and minus x cubed, they cancel each other. And then we have this expression divided by h. How about this? Let's factorize h out. So all of these three numbers, elements have h. So h out. What's left on this is 3x squared and then plus 3. Oh, pardon me. I should have an h like this. xh plus h. There we go. And then basically this h and that h cancel each other. And then when h is a very small number, 0, we can basically put 0 here. So it will be 3x squared is not changed, and then plus. Now 3x times 0 is 0, and then plus h, which is also, so I should have put 3 here and then 2 there. And then plus 0. And the answer is 3x squared, right? Alright, the functions f and g are defined like this, and for part A, what we have to do is, given that f is an even function, show that b is equal to 0. Now, definition of even function is f of x is equal to f of negative x. This is what we call even function. So from here, they're saying f is an even function. So what's fx? Let's write ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to, what's f negative x? Is a negative x squared plus b negative x plus c. So from here, what follows is c and c can be cancelled. Now we also know that basically negative x squared is the same as x squared, so we can also cancel these two. And so left hand side is left with bx, right hand side is negative bx. Let's take this to the left hand side. What happens is 2bx is equal to 0. From here, since x can be any value, x can be 10, if you put 10 here, it will be 2 times b times 10 is equal to 0. So the only possibility is b should be equal to 0. I hope that's clear. Given that g is an odd function, find the value of r. Now, odd function is defined in the following way. G of minus x is equal to negative g of x. This is the definition of odd function. So what's g of negative x? It will be p sine negative x here, and then we have plus q negative x, and then plus r is equal to, what's that? Negative gx. So we'll put negative sign, open the bracket, and then p sine x plus qx plus r. There we go. Let's expand this bracket. So it will be negative r, negative p sine x minus qx minus r. Alright, so if you look on the left hand side, here we have sine of negative x, and on the right hand side we have minus p sine x. It's very well known that sine of negative x is equal to negative sine x. You should know this, I suppose. If you didn't know, then this is something new for you guys. So it's essentially, we can cancel this thing and this thing on the right. how about this? Q and minus x will be basically the same as minus qx. So essentially what happens is r is equal to, on the right hand side we'll have minus r. From here what follows is 2r is equal to 0, and so r is equal to 0. This is the value of r. And finally, the function h is both even and odd. Find hx. So if hx is even, that means hx is equal to h minus x, and then if hx is odd, that means h minus x is equal to minus hx. From here, what happens is, so we see that hx is equal to negative hx. It means 2hx is equal to 0. We are basically moving this hx to the left-hand side. And then 2hx equals 0. From here, hx equals 0. So this is the function, basically 0 function. Next question. A function f is defined by fx like that. Find the expression for the inverse function. Okay, this is a very good question. So you might know this or you might not know this. Basically, the very first step for finding the inverse function is this. So instead of fx here, we need to write y is equal to, and then the rest is the same, 3x minus 2 divided by 2x minus 1. And so the second step is to interchange the values of y and x, basically change the letters. So y becomes x and then is equal to, now this 3x minus 2 becomes 3y minus 2 and then 2y minus 1. There we go. And the third step is to solve for y. This equation, we need to solve for y. Let's multiply both sides by this number. What happens is x times 2y minus 1 is equal to 3y minus 2. Let's expand the brackets. X, basically 2xy minus x times 1 is x is equal to 3y minus 2. And let's take this 3y to the left hand side and this minus x to the right hand side. And remember, when you take something to the left hand side or to the right hand side, it changes the sign. So minus becomes plus, plus becomes minus. So on the left hand side we have 2xy, 3y will become minus 3y, and then equals. On the right hand side we have minus 2, and then minus x will become plus x. And let's factorize this y out. So we write y, open the bracket, 2x minus 3 is equal to, this one is basically x minus 2. It's the same thing, minus 2 plus x, x minus 2 is the same thing. Okay, from here finally we have y is equal to x minus 2 divided by 2x minus 3. And this is the inverse function, right? Part B. Given that fx can be expressed in the following form, a, b, find the constant values of a and b. Okay, so to do this question, we can convert this into single fraction. So basically it will be this expression will turn in the following way: a 2x minus 1 plus b over 2x minus 1. It's the same thing. I just took it into common denominator. And so let's expand the brackets here, the bracket. So a times 2x is 2ax, and then a times minus 1 is minus a, and then plus b. Right? Are you following, guys? And then what we have is, what's the coefficient of x here? It's 3. What's the coefficient of x here? Is 2a. So from here it follows that 3 is equal to 2a. And that means a is equal to 3 over 2. Right? We just compare the coefficients. So what do we have here? We have minus a plus b. And then in the original function we have minus 2. That means that minus 2 is equal to minus a plus b. And then we know that a is 3 over 2, so it's minus 3 over 2 plus b. Okay, from here, when you calculate, b will be equal to, let me think, boom, boom, minus 1 over 2, right? Yeah, I hope that's correct. And finally, hence, find the value of the integral. Okay, let me do it here, because I have no space. What we can do, we can split this fraction into two fractions into the following way. So a became 3 over 2. So it will be 3 over 2 plus b is negative 1 over 2. Negative 1 over 2, and then the bottom is 2x minus 1, and then there is dx. Next step, we can split it into two integrals. First one is 3 over 2 dx. Second one is minus, and then there's 1 over 2, and then 2x minus 1 dx. Okay, what's the integral of 3 over 2x? It's simply 3 over 2x, and then there's minus 1 over 2, so it will be 1 over 2 natural logarithm of 2x minus 1, and keep in mind we have to divide by 2 as well, because we have 2 right here. I'll explain this if you have questions, so you can comment down below if this is not clear. So finally, and then there's plus constant as well, so finally it becomes 3 over 2x minus natural logarithm of 2x minus 1, and then 2 times 2 becomes 4 plus constant, right? Okay. Let px be this polynomial. For the polynomial equation px equal to 0 state, so the sum of the roots. Okay, this is a good question. So just remember this, guys. For any polynomial, let's say polynomial is given in the following form. Let's say we have an xn plus an minus 1 xn minus 1 plus so on up to a1x plus a0. Sum of the roots is equal to negative an minus 1 over an, and product of the roots is equal to negative 1 to the power of n, which is the degree of this polynomial, a0 divided by an. Just remember this formula, very simple. Yeah, and be careful with this minus sign here, and minus 1 to the power of n. Okay, so for this particular problem, let's do part I. So the sum of the roots is equal to, let's see, what do we have here? We have 1 and 2, so it will be negative 1 over 2, right? This is sum. And product, what do we have here? 36 and 2. And so we have to write always minus 1. What should be the number here? It should be 5, because 5 is the highest power here. And then what do we have is 36 over 2. And minus 1 to the power of 5, 5 is an odd number. That's why it will be still minus. So it will be minus 36 over 2, which is minus 18. So negative 18 is the product of the roots. Okay, a new polynomial is defined by qx px plus 4. Find the sum of the roots of the equation qx equal to 0. Alright. Find the sum of the equation of the roots of the... Let's see. So how to solve this problem? Any ideas, guys? What do you guys think? So what we have now is px plus 4 is equal to 0. Now, what's the difference between px plus 4 and the original px equal to 0? Let me put it in this way. Let's say the root one of the roots of px, let's say it was r. If it was r, then the root of px plus 4 will become r minus 4. Think about this. If you put, instead of x here, you put r minus 4, it will be r minus 4 plus 4. It's still pr. It's the same thing, pr here and then pr there. So essentially what it means is every root is minus 4 of the original root. So, and then how many roots were there in the original equation in px? Now px has 5 roots. Okay, 5 roots. That's why it will be sum of the roots will be equal to this sum, which is, oops, this is product. Sum was minus 1 over 2. Minus 1 over 2, and then we also subtract minus 4 times 5. And it will be minus 1 over 2, now minus 20, which is minus 20.5. Yeah, let me know if you have questions below, and we'll go to the next question. Alright, and question 8 is the integration. So we need to do substitution in this problem. Let's see. So if you look on the bottom on the denominator, it doesn't seem to be factorizable. We cannot really split it into 2 brackets. But what we can do the completing the square methods. So let's transform this into, so instead of ex, we are going to write, for now just let's keep it ex, okay? And then on the bottom we can split it into e2x plus e6ex plus 9 plus 4, right? 9 plus 4 is 13, and then dx. And so why do we do this? The reason is these 3 numbers will give us something very interesting. It will become ex plus 3 squared, and then plus, what's left here is plus 4, right? And then dx. Okay, now we have this substitution, which is u is equal to ex plus 3. From here we can find du is equal to, now what's the derivative of ex plus 3? Is simply ex, and then there's dx here, right? So ex dx is equal to du. And from here, so we have ex dx. Basically, instead of this ex dx, what we can put du, right? Are you with me, guys? So it will be like this, du over, and then ex plus 3 is u squared plus 4, right? And so it's equal to, let's see, it's equal to, if you look on your booklet, guys, you will realize there is a formula for this, u squared plus 2 squared du. It's actually from your booklet. You can directly write this 2, so it will be 1 over 2, and then there is arc tan, and then u over 2 plus constant, and then finally we transform it into 1 over 2 arc tan. U was ex plus 3 over 2 plus constant. Now if you want to do it in a long way, I can also show you guys the long way, how to go from here to there, to see why is it even like that. But probably I'll put it in the next video. So next question. Wow, this is the quite long question. Okay, f and g are defined in the following way. Part A, show that g of fx, composite function, is equal to, well, it's very simple. We, instead of fx here, we are going to write 2x plus pi over 5. And then we will put this value into the g. So it will be 3 sine. Instead of x, we're going to put 2x plus pi over 5 plus 4. Done. Very simple. Part B. Find the range of g of f. So let's see. What's the minimum value of sine 2x plus pi over 5 for any x here? Well, the minimum value is -1. The maximum value is +1. So the minimum value of this entire expression will be min is 3 times -1 plus 4, which is 1. How about maximum? Maximum is 3 times 1 plus 4 is equal to 7. So the range here is equal to from 1 to 7. This is the range, right? Part C. Given that g of 3 pi over 20 is 7, find the next value of x greater than 3 pi over 20, which is for which g of fx is 7. So to solve this question, we can actually find the period first. And then, since we have 7 here and 7 there, the difference will be the period. So let's find the period of this function, g of f. Now, guys, watch this. So there is 2 here in front of x. That means the period will be 2 pi over 2 is equal to pi. The reason is originally sine function has a period of 2 pi. And since we have 2 here in front of x, the period will become 2 pi over 2. So we just divide by that number, and the new period is pi. That means the next value of x, which is greater than 3 pi over 20, will be 3 pi over 20 plus pi. We just add one period, and will be 3 pi over 20 plus 20 pi over 20, which will be 23 pi over 20. So this is the answer. And finally, the graph of g of x can be obtained by applying 4 transformations to the graph of sine x. State the 4 transformations to represent geometrically and give the order in which they are applied. Right. So here the order is quite important. You guys can state it in many different ways. I'll tell a couple different versions. So the first version will be, let's see, we do the inner part first, this sine part. Let's have a look. So we have 2x. So the first is 2x will be horizontal stretch by a factor of 1 over 2. Remember this, 1 over 2, not 2. Horizontal stretch by a factor of 1 over 2. And then plus pi over 5 means horizontal shift to the left by pi over 5 to the left, because we'll have plus, it means left. And then after that, the 3 outside means vertical stretch by a factor of 3, and plus 4 means vertical shift by 4 units, right? And the other way to put it will be the following. So we can rewrite it in the following ways: 3 sine 2 and then x plus pi over 10. You see what I did here? And then you can put the brackets here as well, and then pull this 4 inside, push this 4 inside, 4 over 3, right? So we always, remember this, we always do the brackets first. So the very inner bracket is right here, x plus pi over 10. So it means first action is horizontal shift to the left by pi over 10, followed by horizontal stretch by a factor of 1 over 2, followed by vertical shift upwards by 4/3 and followed by vertical stretch by a factor of 3. So 3 times up, 3 times down, right? Okay. Next question. So finally, the last question. A football team is playing the tournament. Stop this video, read the question, and come back to this question. Okay, let's solve this question then. I suppose you have read the question already. Okay, so find the probability that the Roy loses his job. So he can lose his job if his team loses 3 games in a row. What I like to do in this kind of probability questions, I usually like drawing. I usually like drawing. So there are 5 games. Let's draw 5 empty spaces like that. And he can lose the job if these 3 games are lost and these 2 games are not lost. So the other situation can be these 3 games are lost and the other 2 are not lost. And how about these 3 games also lost? The other 2 games are not lost. It can also happen like this. 5 games, 4 games are lost and the 1 game is not lost. And then 4 of these games are lost and 1 game is not lost. And finally we have 5 games, all of them are lost. Okay? And there's also one little thing here. We suppose that this game is not lost and this game is not lost here. This game is not lost and that game is not lost. These 2 games are not lost. There are also 2 other cases which we got to include. It can also happen that these 3 games are lost and then this game should not be lost, because otherwise it will be the same scenario as here. So, and then this game has to be lost. Otherwise, it's not counted, if it makes sense. The last scenario is these 3 games are lost, this game is not lost, and this game is lost here. Okay, what's the probability of losing a game? Is 1/3, so 1/3 here, 1/3 there, 1/3 there. These 2 games are not lost, so it's 2/3, 2/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 2/3, and 2/3. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 2/3, 2/3. And this one is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 2/3, not lost, and this one is lost, 1/3. You see, 3 games in straight lost, 3 games straight, 3 games straight. That's why we regard this one as not lost game. Otherwise it would be 4 games straight. We just look on 3 games straight. So 1/3 here, 1/3, 1/3. This game is also not lost. Otherwise it would be 4 games straight. And this game is lost, 1/3. Okay, these 2 cases is when 4 games are lost straight. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and then 2/3. And then there is 1/3 here, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and this game is 2/3. All of them are lost is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, probability 1/3, and 1/3. So let's add all of them up. So in the left we'll have 5 scenarios. We have the first 3 scenarios are quite similar. What we have is from that we get 1 times 1 times 1 times 2 times 2 is 4, plus how many of them are there? 3, right? Plus 4 over 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 243. Plus, how about these 2 last scenarios is we have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1 on the top, so we have 2 and then plus 2. 2 plus 2 over 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 243. How about here? 4 games lost. It's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 2 is 2. And then there's also like the other scenario is also the same. So 2 plus 2 over 243, and 5 games lost is 1 over 243, because like 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, finally, this is 12, 4, 12 plus 4 is 16, plus 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21, so 21 over 243. Okay, you can also simplify this by 3. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. 243 divided by 3 is 81. So the answer is 7 over 81. Right? Alright, thanks so much guys for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, comments, comment down below. Let's guys study hard for the IB exam. I know it's very important for you, so I believe in you guys, and if you just keep studying hard, you will do well in the exam. So I wish you all the best and good luck, and stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.